Festus Keyamo will not keep person in this election. Come and hear from Festus Keyamo again. Dino said you cannot defend APC without considering yourself as a foolish man. Now waiting Festus Keyamo they do be this. This is too much. Watch Keyamo and Erufai Arise News for studio. You don't want to fight. Question and answer, don't want to fight for Keyamo. Just watch this.
Very good. But let's go back to the failures of the APC, which the wife of the president even confirmed by begging.
But it's not the alleged failures.
No.
Don't use the word failures.
No. Mr. Keyamo, you asked for let's pipe things down. We've been civil. Let's just continue this way. Let me finish talking. Now you're interrupting me, Mr. Keyamo. Let's keep things civil, all right?
I'm just trying to.
Mr. Keyamo, you see, I'm sure the world sees that you're the one interrupting me now. Let me finish my statement.
Go ahead.
All right. The failures of the APC, which are too numerous to mention. One of the longest strike in recent times, ASU strike, the Japa syndrome, the poor economy, the fact that as Minister of Labor, we've not had employment for the people, youth unemployment on the high, the fact that you'll be leaving one of the biggest debt burden behind. So when you were saying in 2015, everybody knew that Nigeria was headed for dire straits, people are even more skeptical about the future after this your government leaves because you've left so much debt behind, you've crippled the economy, you're trying to tax everybody, and you keep breaking the laws. You know what you're doing now? For the first time, you've signed in the budget, the president has signed in the budget, but he's not signed the finance bill. You are a lawyer. You know that's at variance with the laws on ground. He skipped that. So the failures keep mounting. I don't know how you're going to defend all of this litany of failures. Secondly, you say endorsements don't count the dime a dozen. They don't count so much, yes, and I believe you. So much that your party had to divide their Afenifere after Bayo Adebanjo endorsed Peter Obi. Then there was a going to Pa Fashion Roti at the back to seek his endorsement, and he gave it. So now we have for the first time Afenifere, two great Afenifere leaders endorsed two different people. And you say endorsements do not count a lot? Two questions, please, as we wrap up.
The first one was not a question, the first one was a comment. So that's why I was correcting you. You were saying the economy has failed, blah, blah, blah. That was not a question. So I would prefer that we move this discussion out of this forum. So you don't sit down there as a journalist. Move two of us as co-debaters to somewhere, and then we debate it, me and you. I was expecting that you were there to ask questions and not to debate with me. So next time, move this forum away from question answer, move it to co-debater, because you are making statements, emphatic statements that I tell you I disagree with. You say the economy has failed, I disagree with you, because it has not failed. It has not failed because right now, like I said, we have one of the best recovery rates, and IMF has confirmed that. We came out of post-COVID better than and quicker than IMF projected. And I'm giving you facts. And when I give you facts at times, like I said earlier, when you have memorized something to pour out, you just keep pointing it out without taking note of the facts. I told you about the unemployment rate and the fact that multi-levels of government are involved, and it was all a worldwide issue post-COVID that is shut up. But you keep reporting the same issues. So I would prefer that we both go and debate somewhere instead of you asking me questions here. That is to answer you. That's to reply you on that, first of all. I disagree with you. And then you talk about the borrowing. The borrowing, people can easily see the infrastructure that we have built as a result of borrowing. And then, you know what? When people borrow you, we are credit-worthy. It means that they rate your economy so good that you can pay back. Because these are things that will reflect the economy. It's only by infrastructure you can reflect the economy, and the economy will do so well that we can pay back, these loans. Don't forget too that in Africa, our debt to GDP ratio is the best. Rufai, go and check for the big nations in Africa, of Egypt, of Kenya, of South Africa, of Ghana. Our debt to GDP ratio is one of the best. So if the world considered us credit worthy, and we have not, don't forget too, we have not also reached the IMF, ceiling of 55%. We're still doing about 25-30% of our debt to GDP ratio. Other African countries are doing 80%, 90%, 70% above the IMF, ceiling. So I disagree with you. Next time, move us to be co-debaters who will debate this issue. On the second issue, regarding our budget, at the last point, when we want to live on a high, there's nothing bad about, asking for supplementary budgets and approval of supplementary. We can always rectify that. We will rectify it at some point. We will rectify it at some point. But there's nothing wrong. We have always asked for, supplementary budgets, and the National Assembly have always approved our supplementary budgets. And at some point, we will, rectify that.
Well, Festus Keyamo, it has been observed that President Muhammadu Buhari has not been campaigning actively for the candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Tinubu. Unlike in the past, you recall in 2007, you will even think that it was President Obasanjo running in that race. It was all over the place campaigning for, as he became President, Umaru Yar'Adua. But the president this time around, maybe he's busy concentrating on his work, but it looks a bit unusual that as chairman of the campaign, he's not out there in the forefront and raising the hand of the candidate of your party. Is the president just being neutral, telling Nigerians to make their choice?
Let me quickly answer the question. I also forgot to answer that my brother, there, Rufai, asked. I'm sorry, I skipped that about endorsements, that we said endorsements don't matter. We don't say endorsements don't matter. We only say that they may not carry the required, weight that many people, ascribe to those endorsements. And these ones in particular, these particular ones we're talking about, that did not affect us in 2019. Now, you said we went to divide Afenifere. That's an unfair comment. It's unfair because it is judgmental. You did not ask a question. You just made a judgmental comment that we went to divide Afenifere. That is really not fair. Everybody saw the events that played out. The events that played out in the sense that a particular person, without consulting anybody within Afenifere, without consulting even his driver, if I want to put it, in a hyperbolic way, he went ahead and announced that the whole of Afenifere is endorsing Peter Obi. As a Democrat sitting down there, a journalist, would you accept that kind of leadership of an organization? And then the other elders within the organization, without our prompting, protested and said, how did you do this to us? Who did you talk with? He said, and you saw him on TV, and it was on your station, Arise. I was watching that day, Rufai. He said, that is how we do it in Afenifere. We don't need to consult anybody. We have been doing like that from the time of our Awolowo. Haba. How can you do that? And then the other people protested. And then they now ascribed it to us that we divided Afenifere. How unfair can that be to us? When the other elders who were not consulted now protested. And they came together in the ceremony, invited our candidates. You saw all the elders, they would look far line, all of them. Much more than Adebanjo that was even given, an acting leadership role. And they all endorsed our candidates. How could that be our fault? If you as a politician, you see people who are, tilting towards you, won't you accept their endorsements? Would you run away to say, okay, because I don't want to divide the organization, please don't come and endorse me? I mean, that would have been, stupid of us. So please, that's the answer to that. Now, as to President Buhari and his supposed lukewarm attitude towards Asiwaju. Now, simple question. Let me make mockery of our, opponents first on that issue. I thought they said President Buhari had no influence. So why are they so excited about that? Why are they worried about that? That how will President Buhari support Asiwaju? They are watching out. They are watching out. I thought they said he did not win the 2019 election. In one breath, they tell you that President Buhari did not win the 2019 election, that they were rigged out. In another breath, they now tell you that Asiwaju will not enjoy the influence of President Buhari. Oh, so President Buhari has influence? You admit? You know that?
All right. You
know that what he brings to the table is huge. Now, let me answer you directly, my big brother. President Buhari is not like an Obasanjo who wants to install a puppet. You saw what he did in 2007. That was not salutary. I mean, to all patriots, where he said that was when the do or die, mantra came up. If you remember, sir, That it was then that he said this election was a do or die affair for him. Now, a leader should not behave like that. And President Buhari is way above, shoulders above President Obasanjo, in this respect.
All right.
He was there at our flag up. I'm sorry, I know I'm taking some time. He was there at our flag up in Jos. That was enough support at that time. As time goes on, he's going to make some appearances here and there to show that he's supported. But at the same time, he wants to show the world and African leaders that he's aloof to the point that he can conduct free, fair elections. It is not a do or die affair for him. He supports our candidate as the chairman of the campaign council, as the leader of the party. But he's not going to come down into the arena so much as to show that he wants to use state power.
Thank you so much.